The following podcast is a W2M Network original production. Visit W2Mnet.com for all of our other great podcasts, plus news, reviews, articles, and opinions from the worlds of wrestling, video games, football, and entertainment.
What time is it?
I am the face that runs the place.
You need Roman to be out of the main title picture for a little while. You give him a break. This is the only way you're possibly going to get the crowd to do anything but boo him, is give him a break.
I'm the greatest wrestler in the world.
It was exciting to see because it kind of reminded me of Reading Rainbow a little bit.
All they needed was LeVar Burton to come in there.
This would have definitely got a 5-star pay-per-view for me.
Show of the year.
Yeah, show of the year.
How you doing?
It's the scarf of Jericho. Try it on, man!
I want that scarf.
Sorry?
I want that one.
Ron, this scarf costs $750. I just got it in Vienna. It's all the rage this year, part of the fall collection. And, okay. To keep the team unity alive, be the better man as the captain, you can have my scarf. All right? There you go. Okay, I'll put on your scarf then, Braun. That's fine. They're both nice scarves, Anchor on that one there, it's just like a captain's ship, captain's anchor like that. Try yours on. Come on.
I don't like scarves. Ladies and gentlemen, wrestling to the max.
And your hosts, Gary Vaughn, Sean Garmer, and Paul Deezer.
Welcome, everybody, to Wrestling to the Max, episode 221, part 1. And we've got a really interesting show for you today because we've got plenty of wrestling news coming your way. The Rock was nominated for a certain thing and won when it comes to a special magazine. We'll tell you what that award was. Trust me, it's one of the biggest things. As well as we got some other information coming your way about Big Van Vader, and sadly, it's not exactly the happiest news in the world. Plus, we're also going to jump into some more talk about some other big topics in the world of wrestling, so you don't want to miss anything that we got coming your way. And then a quick hit segment this week. Plus, we're going to talk Ring of Honor. That's right. They have some big stuff coming your way when it comes about that show, so we'll get into that. We'll talk about this week's Ring of Honor TV and what we thought and, kind of get detailed and maybe what's going to happen in the future in that company. But besides that, guys, I'm just glad that we are here. We are coming to you a day later than usual because of the fact that we, had, not all of us be, part of. Well, let's be honest, be ready for the show yesterday, so we decided to put it off a day, and that's okay because we had, some more news to get into, so that's good for us and good for you guys too. Hope you enjoyed the Raw review as well as the SmackDown Live review. We've done both those shows, and that's also going to help you when it comes to leading up to Survivor Series. And when we're talking Survivor Series, trust me, we are going to cover it. We're going to do a good job because we're going to break down every match and kind of talk about our predictions. But we're not doing that tonight. We're saving that for Thursday's show, so be prepared. If you're expecting Survivor Series talk, you just got a couple more days, and you're going to get it. Trust things there. We cover everything from NXT, Lucha Underground, as well as Ring of Honor, even Total Bellas, guys. So trust me, plenty of content for you to go check out when it comes to wrestling on W2Mnet.com. Plus also some other great things like some rankings for football, as well as video games. Lots of cool stuff there. Don't forget to go subscribe to the W2M Network if you haven't already. It's the place to find all our shows in one simple click. Well, I mean, guys, I hope your week has been better than mine. I'm your host, Gary Vaughn, and of course, with me today is Mr. Paul Leeser.
Hey-o.
And Mr. Sean Garmer. Oh boy, he's asleep again, Paul. Gosh darn it, we can't do the show.
Well, this is really unfortunate. He's the one with the off button over there now.
Oh no! So we have to go on until he wakes up, man. We got an 8-hour show.
So that's what happened. Why we didn't have the show yesterday. I was asleep.
It happens.
To be fair, tomorrow is my first off day since Thursday, or no, since Friday, and I've been moving stuff constantly, and yeah, so basically anytime I've had an off day, it's not like I've really had an off day, because I'd be doing something, and if not, I've been running errands and transferring bills over, whatever else, you do when you get moved, which sucks ass. So, yeah. Hopefully, this week, or Wednesday is the last of it, and can be back to normal, but hey, this is the first episode in the new place, so that's cool. At least.
Yeah, that's awesome. I'm glad at least you're getting close to being done. That is the biggest pain in the neck. Moving is awful.
At least now I get to have the Ethernet connected to my computer now instead of it being on Wi-Fi, so maybe we'll have a stronger connection and less problems.
Good. I sure hope so. That's awesome. And of course, once again, you can get back to normal and do your normal thing and not have to sit there and work 24/7. So... yeah, glad you're getting settled. Paul, man, anything going on special in your world?
Not really. This weekend, we got the big wrestling thing. I know this Sunday, Wrestle Circus is doing a show out in Arlington that I'll be at. So there's a lot of guys. I mean, Rocky Romero's going to be there, Jeff Cobb or Matanza, a bunch of other guys. I'm really looking forward to going to that show too.
That's pretty sweet, man.
That's really cool. You're going.
Yeah, it's early afternoon, so I should still be able to do everything else that we do on Sunday, but it's going to be a busy weekend, guys.
Yeah.
Oh, God, yeah.
Yeah, tell me about it.
Got, Saturday, you got the double dose of 2 things, and then Sunday, some more.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, definitely. So a big weekend coming your way. And this week has already been kind of nuts, though, even before that. Like I just said, this week has not been, it's not a bad week personally. My personal life has been pretty okay. Nothing terrible there. Well, take that back. My daughter did have to go to the doctor with the UTI. That was not fun. Going to the doctor is never fun, especially when it's your kid. It's a bummer. But, the other thing is Tony Romo is now a backup quarterback, so I had to deal with that. My emotions have been very flux because I love Dak Prescott. It's a sweet and sour thing, man. So I've been kind of bummed out about that a little bit, kind of down.
Don't be selfish, Gary. What about his emotions?
I know. I know. I'm imagining his wife saying, "Well, it was nice being with you, but you're not our starting quarterback, so see you later."
God. She's not Jessica Simpson.
I'm just joking.
I know. Could you imagine, though?
I just like the kid about that because
she'd be like, yeah. "Oh, I'm gonna act like I have a singing career again."
Oh, I'm kidding. Candace Romo's probably pretty nice. But that is also Tony's probably gonna get traded next year, and he'll be in Denver Bronco, New York Jet, or somebody else's team.
Oh God. Don't say that.
This isn't a football show. I know, right? I hope he does become a New York Jet, to be honest with you. That way our friend Randy Isabel can sit here and go, "What?" And then he'll be like, "I have to root for this guy, and I really don't want to," and, so.
Send him to another team with a bad offensive line.
Yeah.
Vindictive,
really.
Gary.
That's evil. Very evil, but, it's got to get, as long as we get our draft pick, I guess I can be okay.
Huh.
But... outside of that, my frustration with that, it's been okay. So, not too bad over here. We'll see. Well, guys, enough of our personal lives. Why don't we jump right into it? We've got plenty of quick hits to talk about, some things to dive into. So we are going to be right back with some quick hits.
Oh, where is there?
It's time for wrestling news. Quick hits.
Sorry if you don't like my noises that I make while I'm trying to find tracks. I always find it, if you'd rather listen to silence for 15 seconds, be my guest, I guess.
Have you had complaints, Sean?
Yes, I had somebody say, why do I do that? I was like, well, it's either that or you're just going to hear much of silence for 15 seconds or you get people thinking that there's a problem. I'd rather make the noise.
I know. Sometimes I try to cue you. Sometimes I try to drag it on, like, "Oh, we're gonna do NXT, Sean." And then, all right, guys, we're gonna do NXT coming up. Then we're gonna do, and then Sean's still like, I'm like, "Oh, he's working on something." Gosh darn it. Okay. But anyway, enough of behind the scenes talk. You'll get plenty of that on a future date. Let's get into some cool and interesting stuff when it comes to the WWE, like the fact that they're going to have chocolate bars. Oh, I can't wait. FYE is going to be releasing them. There's going to be plenty of them. I think we got Randy Orton's going to have one, Bray Wyatt. I mean, even Balor is going to have one. It's going to be called the Balor Club. I think this is kind of cool. All sorts of different flavors. I don't actually have the flavors in front of me. I don't know if you guys know exactly the different ones.
That's if you happen to have an FYE around you, because I don't even know where I have one around here. So.
I don't know, Paul. Do we even have one around us? I mean,
we used to have one for a very long time in Collin Creek Mall, but I don't think it's there anymore.
Yeah,
it used to be one inside the Galleria too.
Or I haven't been to the Galleria in ages. I don't think the Galleria exists anymore now. I think about it.
Is it really not?
Yeah, I think it got turned into like this big artist place where people go and display art and stuff.
Oh, that's awful. My tears are coming.
Well, now it's officially a Galleria.
Yeah, so. Now we can't shop. It's just art. How dare they try to create culture?
Okay, so here's the flavors: sea salt caramel milk chocolate for John Cena, fearfully dark chocolate for Bray Wyatt, phenomenal milk chocolate for AJ Styles, hand clapping pop rock chocolate for the New Day, the Big Dog's milk chocolate. That just sounds wrong. For Roman Reigns, Chipotle dark chocolate for Finn Balor. I didn't know Finn Balor was Mexican. The Architect's milk chocolate for Seth Rollins, and the Apex Predator milk chocolate for Randy Orton. I mean, I know there's different kinds of chocolate besides like those three. I mean, we couldn't come up with another kind of chocolate. I'm just saying.
Well, I mean, I thought John Cena would get at least like orange chocolate or something because he's a colorful character.
Oh yeah, sure. You could have like that.
Oh, I mean, like cherry chocolate, things like different flavors.
Yeah.
I'm just a little surprised they didn't do that. But maybe it was more money and they didn't want to do that, so they just said, "Hey, just slap milk chocolate."
You don't want Ghirardelli prices for chocolate either.
I was hoping Finn's would taste like sulfur.
Yeah.
The one where you die after you eat it.
You know what though? They messed up there because I think you pass away. Like it was worth it as you die. I love Finn, but no, I really think that with the Irish thing, maybe something minty, like mint chocolate.
I think you needed to have Sheamus for that.
Maybe. I mean, you could. I mean, that's a good point there too. But I think his would be a little sour. Just me. The one I'm most interested in right now is the Bray Wyatt one. I love dark chocolate, so that's the one I want.
Oh, yeah, I agree. I'm with you there. So I'm good on that.
Let me ask you guys this: did you guys? I know we talked, Monday Night Raw on the Raw review. Me and Paul got a chance to talk about. But we didn't talk about this. I wanted to save it until we actually got into this episode, and that is about the fact that they had the State of the WWE Universe following Raw. Did either of you guys check that out?
I did. It's the biggest waste of 30 minutes of my life.
Yes, exactly. Oh my god.
Can I tell you how I watched it? And this is kind of funny. I had my Bluetooth headset on. I had to charge my phone, which I put it on my phone to watch. I set my phone down against the wall by the plug, and I sat down in my chair and watched Monday Night Football to finish the game. And my wife walked by and said, "What the heck is on your phone? Why is your phone playing a video?" I'm like, "Well, I'm listening to it." Why? What do you? I'm just like, they have an interview. It's not worth watching. So, and it wasn't even worth listening to, guys. So, yeah, I'm just. Why did they even do that? That's my biggest question. I get it. Yes, you're getting ready for Survivor Series, but couldn't that have been really taking place on maybe following Talking Smack, or maybe do that Wednesday or Thursday? Maybe Thursday. I don't know. I just thought that was silly.
Or just shorter. That did not need to be 30 minutes.
What did they exactly address? Just a bunch of bull crap about Survivor Series? I mean,
Paul Heyman built the match well with Goldberg and Lesnar. That was the only takeaway. Everything else was just senseless bickering.
exactly. It was just pointless. I thought maybe this is going to be where they give you the real big stipulation, that one that everybody had been, hinting at for a while. Oh, no, we get nothing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I understand they still want to get content out there. They want to have something for you to want to tune in to the WWE Network on nights like Raw and SmackDown. So I get that, but this was a waste of time. In fact, if you watched this and you didn't have to, and you were a brave soul, I think I would have turned this off if I didn't have to talk about it here. And really, I guess I didn't have to, because we really don't want to say anything about it. But there is something I want Sean to talk about. And Sean, I mean, me and Paul touched on this on the Raw review, but I want to know what your thoughts were on the Goldberg-Paul Heyman segment. I, personally enjoyed it, but I want to know what you thought about it.
I liked the segment. It was... Goldberg really built it up well, that he was upset and he was angry. Paul Heyman kind of gave it away that he was going to do the line about his family again to kind of set him off. That's the only one that kind of bugged me a little bit. But, I mean, Heyman was his typical, I'm just going to be an asshole. I'm going to be a jerk. I'm going to get under your skin. He did that well. I thought maybe this would be one of those times where Brock was going to grab the microphone and try to say something. He didn't. But other than that, I think, Goldberg looked really good when he was doing the beatdown. It came off really well. This entire thing came off really well, and it got you interested in the match. Brock did exactly what you expect him to do, which is he's not going to waste his time on Raw. He's going to wait till the pay-per-view and do a little tease, and that's kind of all you needed.
Did you think Goldberg looked good with his shirt off?
Yeah. He looks as much as good as a 50-year-old guy's going to look. I mean, I just really didn't pay attention to it that much, honestly. I probably should have after nobody listened to you guys and watched it again, but yeah, that's not something I was particularly paying attention to.
Are you telling me you didn't freeze frame it, take a picture, nothing like that?
Slow mo.
No, I mean, hey, if that's what you decided to do with it, Gary, I mean, Goldberg may not be around that often, so I guess why not,
Yeah, no, I'm kidding. But no, I mean, honestly, the reason I asked that, and it sounds very homoerotic, it's not about that. It's just the fact of,
you
honestly,
said that, not anybody else. Just letting you know.
I was just saying, I mean, honestly, that sounded very, but my point being in this whole thing is, I thought he still looks like he's in great shape. Now, he's not in 1998 Goldberg shape where he's jacked up, but he still looks like he could actually, be physical, be a guy that still has, some martial arts background appearance compared to just a chubby old 50-year-old guy, He looks like he's been taking care of himself. That's what I'm trying to say. So,
well, yeah, I mean, he has been doing the kickboxes all the time, and then I think this is a different Goldberg because he's not going to go get himself back on roids for what could just be one match. Like, that's dumb, right? Like, why put yourself through that? Just do what you can with normal, normal weights and cardio and everything else, and we'll still have to see. You can look as good as you want to look. But when you get in that ring with something like Brock Lesnar, you're going to get gassed really quick. And are you going to be able to hang in there? That's the thing I'm more worried about at this point.
Yeah, and you brought that up, Paul. When we were talking about this, you were kind of saying that your biggest worry is the fact that Goldberg being away from the ring, even though he's had practice now, you're kind of concerned that he's not going to be able to do it.
Yeah, I mean, we haven't the brief things that we've seen from him, like him beating up the security guards, was cool. But it was basic stuff. It was nothing too big, and then he had trouble with lifting Rusev and everything. And so far, he hasn't painted the picture that this is going to be. And it's not like their first go around was a technical wizard masterpiece, classic, whatever other term you want to use for it. But I mean, this is looking like it's going to be kind of rough too.
Yeah, it could be. And, I think all of us hope it's not, because we all remember that terrible match that Brock Lesnar and Goldberg had, many moons ago. And hopefully they get as far away from that as they can. Talking about the Survivor Series and all that, of course, that's going to be available on the WWE Network. And this network is trying to get subscribers back that have left. And, in fact, they are actually looking to get back those subscribers that have been gone like 3 months. And so they want to offer those guys, those subscribers that have lapsed, 3 free months of the WWE Network. That way they can get people on board for Survivor Series and the Royal Rumble. And I get why they would do this, because if they offer it to you long enough, maybe you'll watch it more, and then maybe you'll get so used to having it that you're going to want to pay for it again. I can understand that. That makes a little bit of sense to me. But, I mean, do you think this is really a good business plan? Do you think this is actually going to work? And how do you think people that pay $9.99 every month should feel? Do you think they should feel slighted that, man, these people are getting a quarter of the year free?
They tried that thing with them giving away shop credits. I feel like that would have been much nicer than them trying to do this. Because 3 months free? Come on, guys. Like, stick to the month deal. If they don't want to do that, then just let them go. It feels like begging almost, really.
Yeah, at this point, just either introduce to tiers or just leave it alone. Like, you're going way too into this. Like, nobody does this. Nobody else does this. Why? Because they don't feel this desperation of needing this. Just be happy with what you have, and don't go crazy offering too much for free, because what Gary said, it could be true. You could get used to it being around and saying, okay, well, I've watched for 3 months, okay, I kind of want to get it for WrestleMania. Or maybe you say, look, I watched it for 3 months, I feel like this is all I'm going to get, and and especially with the old content or any kind of the new original shows, you can watch all that in 3 months, and then, okay, well, I don't really care about watching this week to week or whatever, I don't care about NXT, okay, I'm going to cut it. And so, like, you kind of you could end up losing just as many of the people that you're getting here as you get any that stay with it. So, for me, it's just like, the next thing they really need to do is just introduce the tiers and just be done with this, and introduce the different ways you can enjoy the network, whether you have only a laptop and a tablet, or whether you're going to introduce, like, little incentives, like maybe some shop credits, or ways to get tickets, or whatever it is for the $15.99 if you can't, or $14.99 if you can't get any kind of indie content or whatever. But it's just, for me, until they do that, all this kind of stuff seems dumb.
Yeah, and I think that they're trying to do anything possible, and it does kind of seem desperate, because I think that they have a certain number that they want to stay around, and I think that they've seen those numbers maybe slide a bit. Maybe it's something we haven't been reported on, or we haven't seen, take place yet, because we only get the quarterly, financials every quarter. We don't get a chance to see them right when they're actually taking place, and maybe they're seeing a trend that they don't like, and so they're willing to do anything to get people more interested in of course, purchasing the WWE Network. So I'm really kind of curious at the end of this quarter how that's all going to turn out, and if it is a serious situation for them, or at least, maybe some sliding of the numbers.
I mean, it just says a lot, though. You're doing all this on Raw and SmackDown to sell Survivor Series, TakeOver, TLC, or whatever, and you want to go beyond that, too? It's like, why? Just don't get it.
Yeah, I don't either. Some other interesting news when it comes to WWE right now is the fact that, they had Steve Corino stop by and, hang out at the Performance Center, and they had some video of it. We talked about this last week that his contract is getting close to being up, and, this is a guy that's been around wrestling for a long time. How would you feel about him actually maybe joining up versus maybe being a coach or doing something with the WWE?
Are we talking about Corino?
Yes.
Yeah, they had a video up on all their social media accounts, the WWE, about his time in the Performance Center and him gawking at everything. The usual stuff. But we did talk about Corino being one of those contracts that Ring of Honor has coming up at the end of the year. And I thought it was a fun question to ask. Maybe if he does jump ship, this could be a place for him. And I don't know if he does leave, but it's certainly a fun idea to think about. And certainly, it fits right in with what WWE is trying to do and getting all these older indie stars, guys who've been around and were big names and feel like they could add a lot. And Steve Corino certainly can. He knows how to put together a promo. He knows how to build characters. He knows how to build up a character as well. So I think it'd be a great grab if he does end up there. I don't know. He seems happy at Ring of Honor, honestly, but you never know.
Yeah, I think it's all about, does he want to explore something new, or does he kind of want to stay where he's at? And like Paul said, he seems very happy with what he's doing, getting to make trips to Japan and do New Japan stuff and all that as well. That's got to help. I think, the interesting thing here, too, is would WWE be wanting him to, because of his connections to Ring of Honor, do they think that he could be someone that can sort of be a liaison to try to get some of these guys, or just to get other indie talent that maybe he has spotted for WWE to kind of go look at? It helps. Any person you can kind of get that has an eye for that definitely would behoove WWE to go find. I think, like I said on the Thursday show, him being that guy that perhaps finally has the replacement for Corey Graves wouldn't be bad, because we know he's great on commentary for ROH. I think he could work well with Tom Phillips. Not only that, he could help you there in the Performance Center. He can help you with the wrestlers. What Paul said with the character, with the promo, everything else. He brings everything you kind of want in a coach. So, there's a lot there for them to have if he wants to go there.
Yeah, and that's a great point. And, there's definitely a lot that they could get out of this guy. It's just a question of what is his passion? Where does he feel like he is in his life currently? And, is he really willing to move down to Orlando full time? Because that's going to have to be the case if he does do this. And, I think that this guy is definitely a veteran that's going to have a lot of knowledge for those young guys in Performance Center if he was to do that. At the end of the day, though, I think we'll find out, and I think we'll find out if he really does love Ring of Honor and what he's doing there as well. So, but, as we talk about Steve Corino, let's talk about an announcer that used to be with WWE, and that's Joey Styles. And he just got released from Evolve this past week, and now also Chikara, Beyond Wrestling, or other promotions that let him go because of a controversial joke that he made at Evolve, a big pay-per-view that they had. And that joke was kind of in reference to a Donald Trump joke. And it was known that Gabe Sapolsky said, do not make any political jokes, don't say anything like that. And still Joey Styles kind of panicked during this promo and made the joke. And then later on, of course, realized what he had done. Saying all that, I mean, this is a big controversy. We've had people chime in. Heck, even Mickey James chimed in and said a few things in his favor. How do you feel about this? What do you think about, the situation? Do you think it's fair that he got fired? And not only that, where do you think Joey Styles is going to go from here?
So the big thing here is that Gabe, who's head honcho over at Evolve, said, "Don't do this." Joey did it. You're going to get fired, Joey. It's just how it's going to be. And a lot of people say it's an overreaction. I think it's probably the fairest thing they could have done. It was Evolve's first show on Flow Slam. They're trying to make an impression, show that this deal is going to work out. And then they have this happen. Flow Slam is supposed to be very upset, which is part of the reason why I think Beyond let him go, was because Beyond is going to stream their shows on there live. They won't have the on-demand network on there. They have that on YouTube. But they are working with Flow Slam there. So I think that's another reason, because Flow Slam is supposed to be upset with Joey now, too. And Jakar promotes intergender wrestling. Mike Quackenbush, the owner, wrote a very poignant letter that whenever they fired him, that they're not going to tolerate any sort of comments like that towards any race, culture, creed, gender, what have you. So, I mean, it's all really cool. And it's never ever cool to joke about sexual harassment. It's just not. So I'm in favor of the move personally.
I mean, it's hard when you've got other people that are in the business or whatever defending him, and that they see it as a joke, that it was intended to be, and that they don't have a problem with it. But this is one of those things. I mean, again, don't know how far-reaching this is. Obviously, Flow Slam, I think, doesn't want this kind of press. Remember that Evolve is still in cahoots with WWE, and I'm sure that they might have had Joey Styles on a short leash because of that, too, of, well, you don't want to piss off WWE. And so, I don't know how much that comes into play. But again, if your boss tells you, don't do something, okay, and you keep doing it. It was like, today it was nothing like this at all, but it's a similar situation in that, we're technically not supposed to use our phones at work, and everybody kind of does, and even he does, the person that reminded me, but I guess he saw it as I'd been using my phone a little bit too much or whatever, and he told me, if I see it again, I'm going to send you home. And so, like, the rest of the day, I just said, okay, well, if I'm going to use my phone, I got to go to the bathroom or somewhere where you really can't get mad at somebody for using their phone. Like, just because, even though I know him personally, he wouldn't mean anything necessarily by it or whatever, but he feels like, hey, at the end of the day, I'm telling you to do something, and if you don't do it, there's going to be consequences. Just like any other job, he tells you to do something, don't do it. And you would have been fine. You wouldn't have lost any of your jobs here. And like Paul, that's a touchy subject right now. It's a touchy subject for everything right now. Like the NFL just basically shamed a kicker into where he got released and everything because of something like this. His was basically way more egregious than whatever Joey Styles said. But still, like, you just don't, anything that has to do with sexual assault, sexual harassment, rape, anything like that, you just do not, especially with the stuff with Donald Trump, just don't say that crap right now. Like, just don't. And, I don't know, in a live environment, sometimes you don't think about what you say, and that's fine, but it's just, it's hard to feel bad for the guy. And I'm sorry if somebody's going to come in here and blast me because I don't feel sorry for him, but I just can't right now.
Yeah, it's understandable, and, for good reason. Now, do we see this affecting him long-term or short-term when it comes to his work in wrestling?
So he was working with the promotions that he was because they were promoting close to his house. He didn't want to drive further than like an hour or two to these shows. So him doing Chikara and Beyond and Evolve, all that, he was only doing those when they were in New York and stuff like that. So, or Maryland, or I don't know how far it is from where he lives. So that was the reason why. He has a day job. He does stocks, I think, for a living now. So he'll be fine as far as making an income and all that stuff. But whether he shows up in wrestling again or not for a while, I can't really say. I don't know who else out there has a big product around him that would want him on their shows right now.
Yeah, that's true, and that's some interesting information. So I would be curious, maybe down the line, once this all blows over, I'm sure we'll hear from Joey Styles again. I just think right now, like you're saying, Paul, it may be something that has to kind of be put aside until things cool down. It always makes me wonder with Joey Styles and sexual harassment, anything like that is not funny. But it just makes me wonder if it is a sexually consent environment where both parties agree, and Joey Styles is one of those parties. If he was to grab somebody's crotch, would he go, "Oh my God"?
Oh, that's terrible.
I just would. That would.
Maybe he would.
I'm just picturing it, and it's an interesting image. So anyway, moving on from that, we have other things that we can really get into, but something that's sad that we kind of have to talk about here is Van Vader. Big Van Vader has been a guy that's kind of a legendary wrestler. Has been around for quite a while, and sadly, he got into a big car accident that has affected him majorly. But not only that, he got some news from the doctors that he does have congestive heart failure, and he probably only has about 2 more years to live. And boy, that's a hard pill to swallow. I hope he has longer, but that's what he's being told right now. Do you think that this guy and his chances of getting into the WWE Hall of Fame and maybe some other accolades will be given to him in the near future because of this situation?
I mean, the fact that he's not in the WWE Hall of Fame already is just a freaking crime and a half. Vader's one of the best big man wrestlers to ever step foot in the ring. He's one of probably the toughest guys who has ever stepped in the ring. The guy not only was a star here in America, he was a huge star in Japan, and just he's so good. And he's one of my favorite wrestlers of all time, if you can't tell. So get him in the Hall. This really sucks to hear. But absolute best wishes to Vader, and hopefully, his health takes a turn for the better.
Yeah, especially once you had him there as a presenter, it kind of feels like you need to have him in there. Like Paul said, everything he said, he already kind of said everything, but it is a crime that he's not been in there. I know he didn't have the greatest run in WWE, and that might be something that Vince looks at when he's looking at guys that have been there before or whatever and don't have like huge names like Goldberg or whatever. But I really hope that it's sad that it takes things like this where it's like, oh well, we don't know how much longer he has, or a big car accident messes with how much time he has or whatever, and then Vince feels like, okay, well, now we have to get him in because you don't want another posthumous induction. Kind of sucks he couldn't have just been there on his own previously when it wasn't life-threatening, but I guess hopefully you do see him, and hopefully, he gets to outlive this. So many times doctors give time frames, and you outlive them. So hopefully this is not one of those times.
Yeah, it is just a sad situation, and I hope he does get the Hall of Fame induction, hopefully this year, because you just don't know how long a guy has to live.
You're right, though. I mean, it needs to be this year, because just like they said 2 years, it could be 6 months.
Yep, you're right. You're exactly right on that. Let's jump into some rapid hits real quick, guys. We got a few things here that are kind of interesting pieces of news. Well, really quickly here, Tony Nese officially has signed with WWE. We still hearing that Drew Gulak could be another possibility, as well as the Bollywood Boys.
Yeah, the Bollywood Boys apparently have made the move to Florida, so that probably seems incoming. I know Drew Gulak has a lot more commitments to things, especially to Chikara and other places like that. Outside of Evolve, so I'm sure he's got a lot of other stuff to get in order if he does sign. I'm not saying he will, obviously, but he very well could.
Well, the
But congrats to the other
Bollywood
guys.
Boys, I think one of them already has it on their Facebook that he is officially working with WWE. So
Okay.
they are officially signed, looks like, and of course, Tony. That's really cool that the WWE, again, more guys benefiting from having been in the Cruiserweight Classic, getting to now be in the Cruiserweight division. Hopefully, whether it be SmackDown gets to bring them and use them well, or whether it's Raw keeps them. Just hope these guys get used and that they have a purpose, and it's not just being dudes on SmackDown.
Michael Elgin plans to open up his own wrestling promotion, Glory Pro, in St. Louis, Missouri.
This has been a really cool situation to follow. Sean and I are in a group where Michael Elgin is also in, and he sort of brought it up in there on Facebook, and then he went on Twitter, and then he's already opened a Twitter for Glory Pro. A promotion called Anarchy Wrestling out in St. Louis closed down. He's trying to fill the void, and he wants to use it as a place to train up his students, which is really cool. Guys like Kurt Stallion, who's going to be in the Ring of Honor Top Prospect Tournament next year, who wrestles locally around here as well in the Texas area. So, I mean, this is really cool. I'm really excited. Michael Elgin, I said he already plans on trying to have an event where him and Joe Doring can main event. So once Joe Doring's back on his feet after all the brain surgery.
Yeah, it's been really cool to follow this on the Facebook page for Michael Elgin, kind of giving updates, and on Twitter as well. This is really cool. And anytime you get to hear about a wrestler opening up a kind of wrestling promotion is awesome. But it being Michael Elgin, he's going to stick with it, and those guys are going to learn from one of the best.
Otunga released a picture on Twitter of him, and that is in pretty much a full garb and lots of, guns and armor around him, saying he's going to be on a primetime TV show, one of his favorites. What do you think about this?
Do you know what show it is?
He did not tell us. That's the funny thing. It must be a secret.
Huh. I'll be sure not to watch it.
I wondered if it was Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., to be honest with you.
Oh, Lord.
Are you
God.
going to watch the... they did a lot of promotion for it on SmackDown. Are you going to watch that Shooter TV series of Randy Orton?
I don't think so.
Yeah.
I do like Ryan Phillippe, though, so I might check it out. I don't know. I had stuff to do after SmackDown went off, so if I would have maybe kept watching it, but who knows? It could be decent.
It could be. I'm just worried that Otunga is going to be in the new 24 show, 24 Legacy.
Oh, God.
I know. I'm concerned about that. I really am. Well, The Rock
Shouldn't you
has
just be concerned about that show, period?
Well, yeah, Kiefer Sutherland's not a part of it, so, I'm really halfway interested.
Why couldn't he have been the president of Trump? That would have been cooler.
Kiefer Sutherland. He probably wouldn't live as long. The guy apparently smokes like a chain. He's a chain smoker. He's terrible. He's a chimney.
Wow.
Donald Trump's 70.
Yeah,
Yeah, but he doesn't smoke or drink or anything. I'm just saying. That doesn't say anything because there's lots of guys who do this, smoke and drink and live to be 90. I'm just saying it's not good for your health.
No.
But saying all that, The Rock is actually thinking about running for president in 2020. Would you vote?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think he has a chance in hell of winning, but I'd certainly vote for The Rock. I mean, if
all the wrestling fans voted?
That's a good percent. I mean,
yeah.
Well, we all know that Rikishi would do it for The Rock, so we hope you would too.
I'm real curious what his foreign policy would be. Is it just rock bottoms for everybody?
It does make you wonder. It's going to be awesome. I really hope he does. But The Rock also
he's going to have the people's elbow on healthcare.
Yeah.
Foreign policy just turns into a chain of SmackDown hotels.
Yeah, exactly.
He gives the people's eyebrow to anyone who goes against his thoughts in Congress.
Yeah.
But anyway, The Rock also got some other accolades. He is now this year's people's sexiest man alive.
Good for him. I mean, it's not like he needed it, but
Surprised he hasn't won that thing before, honestly. But that's cool. Some very prominent people have won that award. So.
Well, thank you. I try, but
how come I knew, Gary?
Would it be awesome if I actually did win that one year? People are like, oh my god, people
talk about it out of nowhere.
Yeah, this is like an RKO.
Yeah.
Oh my god, I need to superimpose myself in one of those, and just put myself in that position.
There you go. Somebody get on that.
Yeah. One last thing we're going to briefly jump on here is Lillian Garcia is still talking wrestling, but not with WWE. She's actually got her own podcast coming out, and it's going to be all in Spanish. And her first guest is actually going to be Rey Mysterio.
That's really cool. I hadn't heard anything about that. Congrats to Lillian.
That's cool. I can listen to it, and I'm sure there will be translations, whatever, but that's cool.
Yeah. I'm forgetting the name of it right now, and I'm sorry I don't remember the name of it, but it is actually being produced by Maria Menounos, I believe. I think she's a part of this,
okay.
I believe. So, yeah, something if you are a Spanish speaker or you're learning to, Spanish, maybe this is something you want to go check out, and I think it's really cool. So,
she obviously has a unique perspective, so.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. I'm glad she still gets to have a voice. That's really, really cool. It's
she's going to shoot on anybody being in Spanish. Maybe she'll think that Vince won't hear.
She'll be, saying things like, Vince is really small and things like that. He's not as a big man as you think. Not talking about any area, but I'm just talking about muscle bound.
What?
But the other. The other thing we would, want to say with Lillian Garcia is, I hope she doesn't spend half the time talking about how great Conan is. So, anyway,
you never know, Gary. She could be a big Conan fan.
Yeah, true. She may be. She may be just ending every podcast with "orderly, orderly." So. Anyway, enough about Lillian. We need to go and talk about Ring of Honor, guys. And, this was an interesting episode of Ring of Honor for sure. They are leading towards one of their big pay-per-views, and we're going to get into that and all that and more. So let's go ahead and do it. Let's get into some Ring of Honor talk.
All right, guys.
All right. So Ring of Honor, they finally made the move. They're out of Lowell. Now they're we're in the TV tapings from Baltimore, Maryland, inside the William J. Myers Pavilion, their favorite place there. And they open right up with with another first-round match in the World Six-Man Tag Team Title Tournament with Team CMLL of Ultimo Guerrero, Okamura, and Hechicero taking on The Addiction, Frankie Kazarian, Christopher Daniels, and Kama Itachi. This is a pretty fun match. The opening's a little stale, but they get some nice little runs here and there. I'm more familiar with Ultimo Guerrero out of this group just because Ultimo, not only is he a booker down there in CMLL now, but he's one of their bigger stars, and he's a terrific worker too. But he really, I think, is the big selling point in this match. He's the one that gets a lot of the big spots, and he's the one that gets a pinfall too. He reverse suplexes Christopher Daniels off the top rope to get his team the win. After there's a bit of a miscommunication between Daniels and Kama Itachi that, in hindsight, now that Kama Itachi is no longer Kama Itachi over in New Japan, it makes it much more interesting.
Yeah, I mean, this is kind of interesting. And, watching this, I wasn't sure what I was going to think, really, to be honest with you. I don't know any of the guys from Team CMLL. And I was kind of thinking to myself, honestly, The Addiction and Kama Itachi, this is in the bag. They're going to win this. And it ended up being completely different than that. And I really, got that nice surprise. And I appreciated it. I'm sure it is kind of giving some love over to CMLL for sending those guys over. So at the end of the day, they were kind of impressive, not super impressive. Ultimo Guerrero was probably the one guy you could say is definitely impressive. He also got the pin, I believe, if I'm remembering right.
Yeah.
So, I mean, him doing that, and of course, I think it's Carino talking about he's my new favorite wrestler. I thought that was kind of funny as well. So, some good stuff here, entertaining. I think the post-match stuff was even more entertaining to me with, the situation we had with Kamitachi wanted to kick the crap out of, the Addiction for losing that match. And so, I like that. Kazarian was not a fan of it. Kazarian was kind of pissed off, but... he got cooled down pretty quickly. So it was interesting. And of course, Kamitachi spitting on their feet and leaving, I guess that means the end of their friendship, I'm assuming.
Yeah, I don't know if there's going to be a match or anything like that between them, but, the post-match stuff that Gary's mentioned, Kamitachi ends up coming to the ring and shoving Daniels around for essentially costing him the match, because Kamitachi had things well in hand before Daniels gets involved, and Kazarian gets all hot and bothered under the collar there, and Daniels calms him down and says leaders admit fault, and says Kamitachi can hit him if he wants, and he just spits at his feet and walks away, which is, it's kind of a big deal. They've been pushing these guys pretty hard, at least Kamitachi, and at least he got to have that Dragon Lee match, if this is indeed his last appearance here in Ring of Honor. But I don't think that relationship with New Japan's going anywhere anytime soon, so...
Yeah, I could definitely understand. And, I just thought that was kind of an interesting way to end the match, and it kind of gives you a story that I had not seen before, so I kind of enjoyed that. And I also like the fact that Daniels admitted it, admitted his faults. And that's also something else that you don't see a lot. A lot of times heels, they never do any wrong in their eyes. And this guy, actually did it. What do you think about Team CMLL? Do you think that those guys, kind of went on just to kind of get a little further to get knocked out, or do you think that they're, serious competitors?
I've read spoilers, so I know who's in the finals already. But that being said, it didn't surprise me that Team CMLL got the win here anyways. Ring of Honor, I think, wants to really help promote CMLL and try to build them up just as well as they have with their New Japan relationship, because I think there's maybe not next year, maybe not the year after, but if this deal keeps going and we're looking at maybe like 2019, 2020, maybe you see these three promotions team up and try to put on a big show in an arena somewhere and try to see if it finds traction, like maybe somewhere in California, where War of the Worlds turns into like this big pay-per-view and like the Staples Center or something, and maybe they can try to make a go of not challenging, obviously, WWE, but at least, there's competition out there running another big show.
Yeah, it'd be a really cool idea, and they could call it PGW or something like that. That way confuse people like, oh, we're going to PWG, heck yeah, like, oh, wrong ticket. But still, very, very interesting though. No, I kid. No, I think that's a great idea, and I kind of hope it does work out that way. All these promotions have some great talent, and really sometimes, you'd like to say, well, they have big shows, but they're really never anything super large. For them to actually get together and put a large show on in a major arena like, the Staples Center would be very, very cool.
Yeah, this is probably just me talking out my ass too, but it could happen. I like to dream.
I could, yeah, never know.
Yeah. So we go to commercial break after that. The Cabinet come on down, and they're pissed that they got saddled with the Cabinet gimmick, and they seem to have dropped it now. They're done being clowns, and they're going to be very cryptic about what they say after this, because they say there's more of them than what you think. So I'm assuming they're going to try to expand the act maybe a little bit, which is fine because this gimmick was going to die a quick death anyways after the election was over. And then we get some highlights of the stuff that's been going on between Cedric Alexander. Wow, Dalton Castle and Caprice Coleman. They won the number one contendership. Dalton Castle beats Adam Cole in a non-title singles match and is on such a roll that he wants to cash it in at one of the house shows that day. I think it's Glory by Honor, and end up losing their title shot to the Young Bucks. Dalton, we then come backstage where Dalton is looking for the boys. He finds Cabana, and Colt says he hasn't seen them, but they have to go to the ring because they have a tag match coming up against Keith Lee and Shane Taylor. But the camera catches some feathers lying down on the door behind a closed door. Poor boys.
Oh man, those poor guys. I mean, and this is kind of funny and intriguing, and I think it leads to what we all kind of know takes place between Cabana and Castle. I don't read very many spoilers, but I have heard about this, and Colt Cabana kind of ruined it already. So things like Colt. But anyway. This was kind of interesting. I love the fact that, Dalton Castle gets to the ring and he expects, Cabana to put his hands out so he can step on him to get up on the ring. I thought that was great. Once again, just classic Dalton Castle. So, and going into this match, I mean, this is a match that really, I didn't really feel like that they had a chance. I mean, because Keith Lee, and those guys are just amazing. I mean, so I just kind of felt like it ended the way it needed to end up here. All four guys looked great in the ring. They really did. I appreciated their efforts, but at the end of the day, I knew what was going to happen, and it was not going to be Colt Cabana or Dalton Castle getting the pin. So it worked for what it was worth.
Yeah, Shane Taylor and Keith Lee do beat Dalton Castle and Colt Cabana in the tag match. I agree with you completely about the match. It kind of struggles to get going. That's not to say it doesn't have some great spots. You get to see Dalton Castle freaking deadlift German suplex Keith Lee, which is just incredibly impressive. And then I love Keith Lee and Shane Taylor's finish. The Lee's big power bomb into the second row splash just looks so devastating every time, and Cabana really sells it well after he inadvertently gets hit by a knee from Dalton Castle after they try to work together a little bit, and obviously that all goes wrong. But we move on from that. Kingdom. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
No, sorry. Before we do, and I should have mentioned this when I was speaking a while ago, but I thought it was very interesting the slow pace that they started that match out with, especially with Dalton Castle doing his normal, antics. I don't know what that move is, that pose that he does that kind of makes people jump back.
Yeah, the little bend and snap thing.
Yeah, that was a little overdone, I think, to an extent. And it took forever for this match to really get going. So that kind of turned me off a little bit, just because of that. And, but once again, not a terrible match, just kind of not as great as I wanted it to be. And the cabinet thing, you mentioned that gimmick can't go on forever. But isn't that breaking the fourth wall in a way, telling everybody, oh, you saddled us with this whole joke and we were taking ourselves serious. Now it was just a gimmick. Here we are. We're mad about it. I don't know if I like that so much. I kind of like the idea that those guys believed in that. I wish they would have said, you know what, screw that. We don't believe exactly like we believed. We got something new. I don't know. It's weird to me.
It's very. I bought the Survival of the Fittest VODs that they released over this week, or at the end of last week. And they get a lot of time at the San Antonio show to sort of talk about it some more. And they continue to do the same thing, but it seems like they're trying to approach things from like a guerrilla warfare rebellion sort of thing. And they say that what they're doing now is sort of like a next step or next evolution of the cabinet gimmick, which I thought was an interesting spin. But I agree with you in the way that, yeah, they're breaking kayfabe, but it's not something that Ring of Honor hasn't done before either. So
okay, fair enough. I thought that was a little bit weird that they were doing that. I thought, for sure you're going to go at this a different way. But it's okay. Yeah. I like all those guys. I really do. And, whatever they're going to be called now, whatever they do, I think they'll do it fine. I really do like them.
Yeah, I mean, I really like Caprice Coleman and Kenny King a lot. Rhett Titus, I could sort of take or leave at times. But the other two guys, I think, got talent coming out of the wazoo. And... which is where talent comes out of, by the way, if you didn't know.
Yes, it's in a certain orifice, but you can figure that one out.
Yeah, you'll figure it out whenever you find the wazoo. You'll know it. The Kingdom gets some time to hype up their match with Team Team LL. That's the semifinal that'll determine who gets to face ACH, Kushida, and Jay White in that big 6-man tag finale at Final Battle. Adam Cole talks about the Bullet Club's success and hypes up his coming title matches against Jay Lethal and Kyle O'Reilly. And then we get to the big television title match that's been building up for a while. Bobby Fish defends against Hangman Page. I enjoy this match. The thing I'm really struggling with Bobby Fish right now as champion is that every single one of his title matches, and even his non-title matches now, whenever he's going alone, have the same formula. He gets beat up, he'll get a couple spots in, he'll work a body part, and then he'll get beat up some more, and then he'll do the same thing over and over again until he finally wins. And it's not to say that it's particularly bad, but it gets very boring to see the same thing over and over again. So I'm really hoping he can sort of freshen things up going forward from this. He does win this match against Page. He makes him tap out after he reverses the rite of passage into the knee bar. But it's a solid match. They play off the rib injury well. I love Hangman Page to bits. He's such an underrated wrestler. That his slingshot lariat is maybe my favorite spot in wrestling right now. It's so good. I just can't say enough good things about him.
Yeah, and, I really do agree with that, too. I'm a big fan of, and I've grown to really enjoy Bobby Fish even more than I have in the past, and Hangman Page has grown on me so much over the past year. And with that all being said, I totally agree with you. I think that this formula is kind of boring when it comes to Bobby Fish. This whole rib injury thing keeps him in that formula. They are going to be holding on to it for a while now. And so that does not encourage me about future matches. Maybe I'm incorrect. Maybe I'm just being, old man here and saying, well, you're not going to do anything new. Why should I care or pay attention? But they'll probably fix things. They'll probably do something different eventually. At the end of the day, though, this is about to continue the storyline. This is about Hangman Page looking as vicious as he can look. And, of course, Adam Cole's going to be there. Of course, Kyle O'Reilly's going to be there as well. So I do like the fact that this is all making sense, even though the match is not as great as you want it to be.
Yeah, I agree with you. I forgot to mention Adam Cole and Kyle O'Reilly come down to ringside during this thing, too, and you get some post-match antics where Adam Cole and O'Reilly have some words, and then Jay Lethal comes out and the championship, and Adam Cole bails, which is how this episode ends. It is, however, worth mentioning, too, Bobby Fish wants survival of the fittest, so he has a world title match coming to him. And I think anybody with a pair of eyes knows that Kyle O'Reilly is going over Adam Cole for the world title at Final Battle. Red Dragon explodes next year?
Oh, man.
Yeah.
That is interesting. That would be, it would be a shock. But, totally something, like you said, you could see happening. So the one thing I'll be enjoying, though, is to see Kyle O'Reilly finally getting his opportunity to, be the man again. And to be the guy that, they've been teasing for a long time, and that's a champion, a strong champion. And, of course, Adam Cole does his thing, and he does a great job being champion, too. But, this is just, it seems like a long time coming. And if that journey does get to that point and Red Dragon does blow up, that's another wrinkle that we can, of course, I think get behind.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I completely agree with you. I'm sure Bobby Fish is going to drop that TV title at some time in the near future, just because I don't really know what else there is left for him to do, unless he's going to keep feuding with Bullet Club guys or something like that up to Final Battle. But that's your Ring of Honor. There's some interesting stuff happening here. If you're not into what's going on in Ring of Honor storyline-wise, though, it's still a brisk hour of TV that flies by pretty well. So,
yeah, I totally agree. And, once again, another great week of Ring of Honor. We'll be getting into more Ring of Honor next week. And, of course, we'll still be doing some more reviews this week when it comes to the World of Wrestling on Thursday's show. Of course, that'll be available Friday morning on the download for everyone. We're going to be talking about TNA Impact Wrestling, NXT, and Lucha Underground, as well as we'll be doing some previews. And I'm sure I'll let Sean kind of include you on about the other previews we're doing besides Survivor Series. Plus, once again, don't want people to forget, W2Mnet.com, great place to go find lots of material when it comes to the world of wrestling, as well as video games and football. If you want to go check us out, one click on the W2M network, and you have all of our shows, plus some other great shows on the W2M network that we definitely subscribe to ourselves, and we hope you do as well, because they're great shows. Lots of wrestling. We've got football, video game podcasts, just a wide array of great shows that you're not going to want to miss on the W2M network. So there you go on that. But Sean, why don't you go ahead and let the people know what's up this week?
We got Jobbers Court with a new episode talking about part-time wrestlers and their impact on the business, if it's good or bad. We got a video games podcast should come back tomorrow or Thursday for sure. The other shows should be back as well. Just again, with all the stuff going on, I haven't been paying too much attention, honestly. And of course, the Thursday WTM, you should check it out, because of course, not only are we previewing Survivor Series, we'll be previewing NXT TakeOver Toronto, and the New Japan World Tag League begins on Saturday morning as well. All three of those will have some kind of roundtable or preview on the website as well, so you're going to want to check those out. The New Japan World Tag League one is going to be rather extensive, because there's not only are there going to be multiple people there, you also got people predicting points for the blocks and everything else, so that should be a lot of fun. It's going to be a lot of work, but hopefully it turns out into good stuff for us as far as views and people enjoying it. So, you never know. But that's as far as what's going on.
Yeah,
Plus, Lucha Underground has Aztec Warfare 3 this week. We're going to talk about that on Thursday, too. I'm super hyped for that.
Yes, that's right. And that is going to be a lot of fun. So, man, we've got a big show this Thursday night. So it's one you do not want to miss. Trust me. It may be a little longer than usual, but that's okay. If you got that much content, then you got to cover it. And trust me, I'm interested in every bit of it. So there you go. Well, we appreciate everybody for coming to check us out tonight. Of course, we'll be seeing you guys. If you want to come check us out, if you have not heard the SmackDown Live review or the Raw review, go check those out as well. And, of course, we will be catching you guys later on down the road. Until then, if you're not living life to the max,
not living life at all.
You know it.
Please.
Later.
And where is the song? Oh.
Dun, dun, dun,
The following podcast is a W2M Network original production. Visit W2Mnet.com for all of our other great podcasts, plus news, reviews, articles, and opinions from the worlds of wrestling, video games, football, and entertainment.